Share, and let's go ahead and get right into this. So here's our milestone. We're the village. We get a new area, we get districts, policies, another loan, we get fire and police, we get farming and forestry, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into this and start building this out. So the first thing we're going to want to do is put in our fire and police. Now, because our industry and our residents are so far apart, I had to choose between the two of them, and technically I should have probably went with the power plant, because if that burns down and we have no electric, we're going to be in trouble. But I decided to give it to the residents instead, and hopefully nothing bad happens. So I kind of took a look over there just like, I don't know, I probably made a mistake, but we'll see. So yeah. So looking at our electric, it looks like we need to turn the budget up on that. So I just go in and turn up the electricity because we are running a little low. And while I'm there, I turn up the roads as well. So now I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because I'm going to put a district on here. And anybody that knows me and knows my episodes, I stink at trying to run this along a road. It is a mess, but I make the best of it and put it all in. It came out, I think, Birdsong District. It's okay. I'll leave it that. If we want to change it later on, we will. So as you can see, it's starting to get a little dark, and I do adjust the budget for that. I just cut it out just because it took up so much time in the video, and yeah, it does need to be adjusted during nighttime and daytime cycles. So I did adjust for that, and yeah, we'll go ahead and continue. I'm just going over a little bit of the nighttime view. I think it just looks really pretty with the lights, and we're super close to hitting our next milestone. Tiny town. So now we get parks and fences and canals and a high school. So we're going to go ahead and start to raise our land value by popping in a whole bunch of parks. We're going to be able to put our high school in. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with that. So here's the part where I always speed up a little bit because it just gets a little long and boring. So as you can see, I'm just going to pop in these parks, and then we're going to put in the high school, and we're going to watch it change from red to the blue-green, and that means the land value is going up every time we place a park or a service. So that's a good thing. So as you can see, we have a high demand for residence, commercial, and industry, but I'm just going to go along and just fill in a little bit of residence along the edges, and I think I continue this residence a couple of more blocks down, and then I stop it. Then I think that's going to make it complete, and we'll start upgrading the roads when we have the budget. Right now, I'm looking at the area to see the natural resource of farm, and I think we're going to get ready to go make us a farm. Okay, that would have been great, except I don't have the budget for it. So it's a good thing I did not take any loans. So we're going to go ahead and take our first loan real soon. There we go. Right here, $60,000. Now we can go make a farm. So the first thing I'm going to do is extend this 2-lane one-way highway down that we have going on. Still not sure what I'm going to do with it, but you know, I got to extend it. So we're going to go ahead and just come down and come a little bit on this curve. Then I was looking to come this far, and I was like, wait, I'm on a budget. I just took a loan. So I decided, no, I don't need to go that far, and I come back up. So I was like, yeah, no. So now I just cut this off right about here. I just want to give the farm their own highway access so they don't mess around with our residents and get our traffic all crazy. So yeah, I just figured just bringing this down just a little bit and then having an on-off ramp for just the farm works a lot better for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up just a bit because this is taking quite a while. I was kind of going through the footage and I don't know why, it just seems like it's taking forever for me to put this road in. But yeah, I do the same thing with the on-off ramps. It just makes the traffic a lot smoother and it just goes in nicely, so it works quite well. And now we're back to regular speed, and as you can see, the sun's going down and it is getting dark. So I was actually thinking about continuing building the farm through the night and thought, not a good idea. So I continued to do this little flyover because, again, I love the lights at night. It just looks so good. I love the way they're animated and the way they're colored, and you know, they just look really good. I don't know what it is. But anyway, to keep this episode moving, I'll stop here and we'll get back to our farm. So the sun is barely up and I just start running these gravel roads straight, and I kind of do it in a sunburst pattern off the curved road. I wish we could make our farms anything we would like, but they stay in the shape of a rectangle or a square, so there's not much we can do about that. So now I noticed that we're having a little bit of an electric issue and it's time for our second power plant. So we're going to go ahead and put in another coal power plant because we don't have oil yet. And once we pop it in, we're good to go for quite a while again. So that's a good thing. The coal, and they last quite a long time. So yeah, let's get back to building our farm. So before I build any more roads, I go into the industry paint and I paint in our farm. I just grab what's really bright yellow in the beginning here and just clean up that road. So now we're just going to go in and draw in a couple more roads and see where we're going to put our farm main house. Again, I like to put it on the inside, usually coming into the area. So I just draw a little angled road here and we're going to plop in our farmhouse right here. So I think that looks pretty nice. You get the mountains in the back and it kind of has an overview of the farms in the front and the farms in the back. So now this farm needs some water and electric. So I just start running this to 460 and I messed that up, but I straighten it out. And yeah, we're going to run these down and then I'm going to use a windmill for now just to get some power over to the farm. We have a little bit of a gap between our residence and the farm. So as we start filling out the farm, we can connect the electric together. But for now, this will work just fine. Now we're going to go into our industry farming and get our crops and other assets that we can put down. So we're on level 1 and we have to get to level 2 before we can open up more assets. But for now, we're going to just put down what we have and we'll go from there. So with putting in an industry so early in your game, you do have to keep an eye on money. So I do pace myself and I did the crops, and now I'm going to put in the animal pastures. So this way we don't overextend our money, and you'll see our income start to rise quite quickly, but you do have to pace yourself. So here's a little overview of our farm. We do have 3 of each of the crops, and we do have 2 animal pastures. Now, considering we did this at level 3, it's quite early in the game. We did take our loan, but we are making a profit, which is good, and we're just going to continue to grow this slowly. As we level up, we'll add what we can money-wise. We'll see how it goes. We do have a silo that we need to put in, and that'll give us some storage. And yeah, so I mean, we're well on our way to making a nice little farm industry. So now we're just going to run a few roads down in here to add in our silo, and I'll probably put in our little barn when we open it up down in here. This will help. They draw a lot of traffic, and if we can pull them away from the raw materials and the processing buildings, that kind of helps. I usually build my farm and forestry a little different from my ore and oil. And I know that the processing plants with the farm and the forestry pollute, and I keep them a little bit away from our farm crops and our animal pastures because it just doesn't look good with that connecting so close to our nice beautiful farm. But they do have to be in the farming industry paint, so make sure you keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and just add in our little silo down in here. And like I said, storage buildings, keep an eye on them. They do build up traffic, so you want to make sure they have easy access to get in and out. So another thing to keep in mind is the storage buildings do not need to be in the industry area, but like for silos and barns, of course they just look better over there. And I do usually add one of the warehouses down in here as well. But they do not have to be in the painted area, so you can put them pretty much anywhere on your map. But obviously a silo and a barn would look kind of silly in the middle of a city somewhere with you know, just the big buildings or something. So yeah, I do keep the silos and the barns over in here. Sometimes I do even add the warehouses, but yeah, that is just something that you don't have to do if you don't want to. Next, I just pop in and rename this from Hillside Ranch to Kyntre Farms. So I'm sure you've noticed that I have a high demand for industry, and that will get sorted a little bit later as we start to grow the farm out. You don't have to worry about it. The unemployment will be a little high, but as it grows in and you get the workers' barracks and stuff like that, it will settle down. Here I just start adding a little bit more to our roads over in here, because I did say before I was going to extend this just a bit more down. I think I add about 3 more roads. And yeah, then I'm going to stop this neighborhood here, and we're just trying to get to Boomtown right now. So we're just filling in a bit of the demand. So the farm reached level 2, and we just go in and grab a couple of the new assets. We have a decent amount of money, so I think we get the workers' barracks and some processing plants, I think the flour mill. And so we're gonna just extend a little bit onto our farm, and we'll go from there. So here we are at the end of our episode. I'm just doing a little overview of what we've done. And we did build up quite a bit. We started an industry, guys, at level 3. So it is possible to start using your industry DLC very early on. You just got to be careful and pace yourself at a good pace to make sure that you don't run out of money. And you'll start making money quite quickly. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm going to let this run through a little bit more. And if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, comment, share. Click that notifications to get notified when I get a new video out. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.